Our speaker this morning is Rachel Maier. Rachel is a four-year boarding student originally from Florida. She currently lives in Westchester, PA. She manages the varsity boys soccer and basketball teams, and she's a proud roommate of Emma Gray. Rachel?
If everyone sees colors differently, how do we distinguish what is a light blue from a dark blue? As my dorm mates can tell you, my perception of color is very different. As long as I can remember, I have mixed up my colors and see things differently. Easily confuse a gray with blue or green with yellow. Much like perception of color being distorted, as a society, we tend to perceive each other differently. The other day, I was in Lululemon by myself shopping. When I went to check out, I saw they had masks. I thought, why not, and bought one. I was looking for a good color to get, then I found one, a nice light blue. I wear blue a lot, so it would work well. I've always struggled with differentiating certain colors, but I never took it too much into account unless someone pointed it out. This makes it harder to shop for certain clothes because if they aren't bright enough, it's hard for me to tell exactly what color it is. I like shopping with someone else so that if I can't figure out what color something is, then I can just ask them, but I'm not always with someone. Since I was alone, I didn't have anyone to ask about the color. I could always ask an employee, but they never seem to take it well and look at me as if I'm crazy. I decided to just check out and went home to show my friend everything I got. I started showing her everything, and lastly, I showed her the mask. She mentioned it was gray, and I got confused. I always knew that I struggled seeing certain colors, but I look at it again, and I saw blue. I still do. This experience pointed out how often I confuse my colors. It's more in a subtle day-to-day life type of way, and not a, oh, I can't see any colors way. When I mention it to others, they usually find it weird, but I just viewed it as my normal since I've been like this as long as I can remember. I have a different perspective on colors compared to others. It's not a bad thing, it's just how I am. We all see everything differently, but we don't acknowledge it as often as we should. So what are some other things we see differently? Speaking for myself, I have often struggled with my body and compared to other people. You sometimes hear people say things like, he's only using you for your body, and you're only good for your body. Comments like these have always been difficult for me to understand because when I look at myself, I see a body that needs work to say the least. I know others might say differently, but I really do struggle with seeing myself in that light. I understand that my perception on my body is different from others, but when I look into the mirror, I see what I see, not what others see. What I see is not what everyone else sees. For our sixth form retreat this year, we were told to bring a bathing suit. So if you know me, you know I took this opportunity to order a new one instead of using one of the 50 other ones I have at home. When I got back after grabbing my package from the package room, I was so excited to try it on that I immediately put it on in my room. I stared at myself until my friends said they wanted to see. I unconfidently walked out of my room and showed them, preparing for the worst. There were many reactions, but not a single one was anything negative, and it truly made my day. Because previous to walking out of my room, I had my mind set on not bringing any bathing suit and returning this one. My opinions on how I looked in the bathing suit were completely different from the opinions of the girls in my dorm, and it changed me. A part of me was changed because I was able to add their perspective into my own, which allowed for me to view my body in a more positive way. I'm not saying I think my body's perfect now, but I am able to acknowledge that others think of it differently. And I should take that into account before I judge myself too harshly. It was definitely something I needed. The people around us don't just have an impact on the way we see ourselves. As we get to know the people around us, they can have an impact on our perspective on the world because they all come from different backgrounds and have different experiences. We're able to use what others go through in order to understand their views in life that are different than ours. Over the past 4 years, I have met people from around the world with different backgrounds that have given me insight on what they've been through. They have added to my perspective by showing me their past and how it's different from mine. I have lived in the dorm for 4 years now, being surrounded by people that have had completely different experiences than me. They have opened my eyes to things that I had never thought of before. I hope the people around you are changing your perspective just like they have changed mine. Allow them into your life and accept they have different views than you, which will help you grow. It is okay that people have different perspectives than you, but it's the importance of understanding their perspective. I think we can all work on realizing that there are different perspectives on everything in our lives. For me, my turning point was the bathing suit. For you, it might be something else. I'm not saying we should completely agree with everything everyone says and ditch our own opinions, but I do think we should take their opinions seriously. I have benefited in many ways just by taking others' opinions into consideration. These different opinions and perspectives are what help us open our eyes to things we haven't seen before. There is so much value that can be seen through another person's lens. It's important to realize that there are so many different ways to view life, and ours will never be 100% right. In our minds, we have one viewpoint, the one where we are the center because it's our life. But we are not the center in anyone else's mind. They are. It's hard to say we aren't right all the time because personally, I like being right and hate being wrong. But we aren't right all the time. It's important to acknowledge when we are wrong, as hard as that may be. Everyone struggles with something different and needs help in one way or another. In order to help each other, we need to understand we aren't the only one going through something. We have to listen to other people. We have to take into account that we aren't seeing everything, and we need to understand we aren't the only one with a perspective on life. Thank you.